Hello friends, as we say in Auburn, Alabama, War Eagle. That's right, we are at Auburn family. Classes of 1990, 91, 2017, and 2019, the Holcomb Four. And since we're an Auburn family, we're familiar with the Auburn Creed. The Creed begins, I believe this is a practical world, and I can count only on what I earn. Therefore, I believe in work, hard work. Now the Creed goes on to talk more about my belief in education, honesty, sound mind and body, obedience to the law, that I can serve my country best by acting justly, loving mercy, and walking humbly with my God. And it concludes with the statement that since Auburn men and women believe in these things, I believe in Auburn and I love it. A great creed. It's a wonderful creed. George Petrie, 1943. But it's that first line that I've thought about a lot in my adult life. In the workplace, on the athletic field, in personal endeavors, raising a family, I count on what I earn. And so I work hard. I believe in hard work. But there's one area of my life that I just can't turn over to this philosophy. In fact, it would be very, very dangerous. And that's the area of my life, the idea of my faith. It's just bad theology. It's wrong theology. The idea of performance-based or earning, so therefore I must work hard at it. And this week in Journey, Blue Year, Section 1, Unit 3, it's around the idea of grace-based salvation versus performance-based. We're still within the 6 weeks of the pursuit of gospel living, but we've now gone from glory to grace, and we're going to take a look at what the completed work of Christ on the cross did for us relative to our access to eternal salvation. Well, so in this week, Section 3, why we embrace the cross of Christ and how we rightly relate to God, 3 key focus emphasis that I would encourage you to spend time with. First, really grounded in the main verse this week, 2 Corinthians 5:21. There's a wonderful song out there as well, that he became sin who knew no sin, that we might become his righteousness. And so for our sake, he went to the cross, and his completed work allowed us the imputed righteousness that he earned for us, that we did nothing, and yet it is complete and more than sufficient. Spend time in that, and as you do, you're going to look at a wonderful diagram that really relates what God has done to his grace, generating the love that is received from that initiates the performance back around to God. It's a wonderful diagram, and it makes sense from the standpoint of when we look at Paul and James, that they are complementary in their messages, that the faith and justification comes first, and because of that we now perform, or we have works because of our faith, not the other way around, that we have to get those rightly related. So spend time there. The second thing that I'd ask you to spend time on is some content on a really, really important understanding of what happened at the fall and at the cross, and then from that point forward. And it's the simple saying that we lost it all, he did it all, we get it all. So it'll stay with you. I promise you, it'll make very clear what happened when we fell out of relationship, perfect, righteous relationship with God, and then what happened on the cross and the tomb that brought that access back to us. And then because of that, if we believe and confess and receive, we now receive that restored relationship again. So we lost it all, he did it all, we get it all. And then finally in mission this week, we're going to be talking about word and deed. Now we're going to need to have eventually our testimony. We're going to talk about having a gospel presentation, and we have to share the word. But we also cannot ignore the idea of showing the word as well in our deeds, and how important that is. So the activities this week in mission are really to identify what are the needs around you and what can you do about them. How do you pray for them? How are you intentional about them? And how are you alert and ready to step in? So I hope it's a wonderful week, our first week in grace. We've been in glory for 2 weeks, we'll be in grace for 2 weeks, and then in truth. And so until we see you again, friends, I hope you have a wonderful week along your journey, and I hope that you would join me and my family, my extended Auburn family, in saying, have a good week.